running on diesel, baby, I'm active. Try to wanna know what's happening. Baby, no cap, I'm captain. Honey, no rings on me, ain't bagging. Diesel, feeling I'm massive. I feel like Shaq, I'm shacking. That little bitch, she savage. Hit it on top all night, I'm damaged. Bomb, 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 yeah, bomb, 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 bomb. Feeling I'm massive. Feeling like bomb, bomb, bomb,
Hey everybody. Oh man, that was loud for me. How's everyone doing? You guys are all having a good day. I just gotta check some. So how is everyone doing? I know some people will be joining in the stream very, very shortly, but I hope everyone had a good start to their Monday. No, everyone works, I guess, for a living. I have no idea, but yeah, we are going to be doing some live review of this past game that I streamed. So yeah, so I streamed this past game between OnlyFins and 263. Flip over to the map. So I know this, I've done this in the past, but just kind of reminding some people out there, if you have not been a part of one of these, is basically I cast a game or go and find another game that another player or another person has casted, and I kind of just review the game a little bit, seeing what the teams did right, seeing what the teams did wrong, and all those kind of things. It's like Dunny is playing CS2 in the bottom right, so you'll probably be seeing those pop-ups a lot. So yeah, so this is between OF and 263H on SME checkpoint, and with my handy dandy little draw tool, we can draw on bigger on my side so I can draw a little bit better. So SME checkpoint, right off the rip at this game, I said that this is probably the best map layout OF can get, and this is the worst layout 263 can get. Having Western approach as your fourth point, your defense point off opener, is, I would say, the second hardest fourth point to defend in the game, if it's offset especially. Western, if you don't know, this is basically the hard kept sectors, that green circle. And if, you know, OF, you know, cap checkpoint, which they did, and they get a garrison basically right here, you know, that's only like a 75-meter run, 100-meter run to get inside the hard cap. And, you know, if you get a couple people to do that, it is very, very dangerous. So we will play this at 2x speed so I don't waste a lot of your guys' time. But yeah, we're just gonna go through this game. I'll pause it in between and stuff like that to kind of maybe tell some good things, some things that maybe each team could have done a little bit differently. But off the opener, as you can see, OF gonna place a garrison in this bottom right, gonna place one probably at Mason, and then somewhere probably up here as like a first easy three garrison start. Personally, I would have went one all the way in this corner. Then you can place one like over here, and then maybe have one up here and up here, just for a little bit better spread, just in case, you know, someone somehow sneaks all the way down here or whatever. But I don't think that happened really too much. I know 263 in this game had a lot of people in their back line. But I'm just gonna probably skip to wall drop. So off opener, not taking this other transport truck, which it's interesting because you have a lot more people on top of the truck, and if you do shoot rockets, sometimes the desync issues will kick in and kill everybody in the truck. So interesting not to see that. Also interesting to see that they built all the nodes, or two sets of nodes in the middle HQ. I thought that was very interesting to see, but nothing too much. But I think I don't know, because they do get a tank snipe on this opener, and I want to say it's from the Greyhound, from where it was hitting. So if I go back to the map, it seemed to be kind of like a more direct path, more so than this. But I think this is a little bit harder of a shot because you do have to like maybe not hit this building. So I think it was the Greyhound that did get a snipe. And I think the funny thing is the driver bled out from the splash damage. I don't think really too many people died from the Greyhound, maybe one or two other bodies, but you know, I just think it's kind of funny that the driver did die. And I will be doing this for other teams and games as well that I don't cast, or obviously 49s. This was a 35v35 game, so a little bit different from what is normally played, or is the norm, I should say. But off the opener, good start from OF. Went to where they needed to go. Axis prioritizing the north, what you need to do. And I do love how OF got a really good start and had people cross this road. The main goal for each team is to try to cross this road. As Axis, you actually technically get there a little bit faster. Tell me some tips. This is SME checkpoint. I think that's maybe... No, I don't know if I'd pick that. Maybe it's SME night, but... yes, this is tips for SME, at least checkpoint. So the goal for each team, in my personal opinion, when I play this, is trying to get across the road first. Technically speaking, as far as distance, Axis have a shorter distance by a few meters, but it's pretty even for the most part. Checkpoint is, as far as getting to the point fast. Sure. P4. Don't really like that position from the P4. I wish he would have maybe been, honestly, more so like right here, like kind of like holding this angle. If you hold this, you can kind of see some people crossing right here in this little area. A little bit. It's not too much, but you kind of want to put your P4, or at least I don't know if they do have their Puma right here or not, but you want like at least one tank or an MG kind of watching this area, just for anybody crossing the road or anybody trying to go down into here, because, you know, 9 times out of 10 the allies will always have this wheat field. So you kind of want to cut them off, at least from part of the team, from doing anything. And then the P4 is just going to get aggressive here, which I don't understand. I feel like this is way too much of an aggressive play this early on in the game. This is basically your starting heavy tank. Does kill the Greyhound, so it does kind of benefit them. But you also see in the distance medium tank with 2 guys repairing. And it should take out this medium, just a missed shot right there. And I'm pretty sure this medium actually does take this tank out. You know, the medium's in a rough spot. Cap went to OF right away. Don't know what blown up back there. I forget what blown up. I think it was a truck. It was the truck. It was a supply truck that a Puma was in. I think that was the Puma, because the Puma kind of flanked all the way around the map. I think that's what happened. And then the medium tank actually does end up dying to the P4, which I can't believe. That P4 should honestly be dead, but, you know, kudos to him for securing that kill. Maybe there's a Luke's in the back line. Yeah, there's a Luke's and a Puma in the back line, which I think was really smart from 263 to do. You're starting to see that a lot in the across, I guess, all divisions at this point. You're starting to see teams, you know, use those starting vehicles, or maybe even a spawned light or spawned recon to also harass the backlines off the opener, not just using it for mid cap, but, you know, taking out those backline garrisons. Checking over western approach. 263 obviously dedicating a few more bodies back there just in case there is immediate cap pressure. Adjust my mic so I don't sound like I'm cutting off. So this is, I think, what happened here and why OF got this far, because usually you rarely get this far if you're your allies and you cap it. I think 263 just got caught without replacing down their OPs. I can go map real quick. So nice scary layout. They do have a backup one for La Mason in case they did lose it and they maybe lost one of these garrisons on the line. Immediately within the first few minutes, getting garrisons to the north and around checkpoint. Obviously trying to get one down here, but also dealing with the Luke. So obviously trying to prioritize that Luke's is a priority over probably putting down the garrison that can potentially just get one popped, but Luke's retreating. I do like this play from OF, bringing the Stewart on this this kind of main push line, I guess you can kind of call it. I think that, oh shit, I tried to pause it. I think this is a smart play from them, using this right here to kind of just have like pretty much a mobile MG with HE rounds, I guess you can kind of call it. So just locking down the few bodies. And this is where I think 35s gets kind of wild, is when it's offset like this, where both teams need to dedicate the right amount of bodies, even more so. I would say they just need to dedicate the right amount of bodies for each grid square, because in 49s you kind of just like all the teams basically play like in this sector off of mid cap if allies cap it. Like this is basically the main sector that 95% of everybody's going to be in, are these 3 grid squares. But you're going to have like maybe like, you know, a total of like maybe 7 people just north of there in like, you know, the C line through the F line. You're gonna have like about 7 people from each team total just being there. So it's kind of interesting to see how these teams play. Nice AT gun here from these 2 fellows. Now, unfortunately, the P4 will back up and they will not secure the kill. I do love how this tanker got out to rep this tank though. The opposite tank. Well, looks pretty much doing a dive, gets hit by the AT gun and then popped by the 76. Now within like the past like 2 minutes, OF got 2 other garrisons, basically 2 push garrisons. I kind of don't agree with this one. I think if they would have had one more up here, it can flood in from the north a lot easier, just creating a little bit more pressure. But again, that's really far out of sector from either cap, so maybe it wasn't in their cards to do so. I just think just having maybe one SL and like maybe another player with them just kind of put a little bit of pressure, made them make 263 spread out even more than they want to, I think is a little bit better of a play. But here comes a Tiger. We're gonna have our first heavy fight of the game out of many dead tanks that will happen on screen. Let's get maybe a little bit ahead. I think the P4 dies here. Does it die? No idea. Now 263 kind of reclaiming some ground. Oh, Tiger's still alive. Never mind. Tiger just looks weird sometimes when it's still alive and you look at it at the right angle. I was surprised of how much cap pressure 263 was applying right here during this game. Then this Tiger is starting to push wildly. I just think it's an odd play to push like this, to be completely honest. Because you're just exposing yourself, because you don't know if there's like an AT gun like built right here that has like a cross trying to kill that P4. Because then this Tiger would just easily get in the line of sight and just pop it. But he is playing a little bit aggro. I think during this, I thought that the P4 would bait this 76. But he left a little bit too early, and the 76 will get the first shot on to the Tiger. And now the Tiger is just going to, you know, just get popped instantly as soon as he gets hit again. So I think a little bit too aggro of a play there for that Tiger. Should not, I don't think, have done that play, but, you know, maybe they just mistimed it and it just, you know, kind of went south. You know, which in the game of held it loose. A lot of things do go south rather quickly. Just kind of watching a fight. Skip this a little bit. Just basically winning your 1v X's. I don't know why those are built right there, to be honest, but maybe they're trying to cook something up. I don't know. This I really don't understand why 76 is in this position, because, you know, he just got satcheled. Like, I can understand what they're trying to do is, you know, make them, I guess, make a play on the 76. I just don't agree going right up to the hedge right here. I would say maybe play like map edge, like right here, like making them trying to run and satchel to you, and having maybe like a sniper, or, you know, one of your better shooter, like your more accurate shooters, just be back here just to, you know, kind of cut them down. Or I don't know. I just feel like going that close to the hedge is just a death sentence. You're just waiting to get satcheled. I just think a big misplay here from the armor of OF. But again, like 263 just applying pressure, and it's like that's like the beauty of the 35s, or like just the lower format, is you get a you can get cap pressure rather quickly with few bodies. And I think you're just kind of see OF trying to, like, I think they struggled a lot throughout this game of trying to dedicate the right amount of manpower to defense. This is where I thought things were going to get really dicey for 263. Having this many people back here. Fortunate to die to an AP mine. Always use your AP mines, peoples. It is free and easy kills. I don't know what I'm looking at. Not a bad airhead. This is one thing, like, if you don't know about me, I will judge the hell out of you about your airhead plays and your placement of them. That is the one thing I will do to every single player in this game and or commander on any team that I cast for, is I will judge the hell out of where you place your airheads. Oh my god, joking on water. So holy shit. Oh my god. So I think this is a good airhead. I think it's a fine airhead. The reason why I think it's fine is this OP right here. It's not lit up right now, so it's, you semi assume it's kind of safe. Personally, I would have been maybe a little bit more back here, like about 15 meters to the east or so, trying to get in between these buildings around the east side of Western, just for a little bit more cover, just a little bit more hidden and maybe a little bit more difficult to navigate towards. But you're seeing that, OF is having some good success coming from behind. Hey, Leb, how's it going? Obviously, massive Gary spawn just to make sure their defense is set. Good nades there by the OF team. These are the... I don't know. I think he was anti-tank. He should have just shot a rocket at the house, because I think he would have blown it up. Or blown up the garrison, at least. Unless he was somehow AT gun class. I don't know if AT gun class has grenades, though. But I think it was... yeah, they ended up killing it anyways. But this is kind of where, if you're... if you have to kind of... shit. You kind of have to go all in right here. Like, you have a, semi-clear airhead. You're quarter capped. You destroyed the garrison on point. Once you get that call that you destroyed the garrison on point, you should make a more of that all-in call. Now, obviously, it depends on your armor situation and how your defense is kind of holding up. Personally, I would have already went with the all-in. I would have had maybe over half my team already over there. Just because you are so close of capping this point. And Western, I think it's one of the hardest points to recap if you lose it as Axis. I would say it's probably the... Yeah, I would say it's probably one of the... Yeah, it's definitely... I don't know. I would have to think about fourth points for a second, but I think it's, definitely like top 3 hardest fourth points to recap back. And then you see the airhead got destroyed. So there's at least one more spawn wave on this airhead. I would have probably put it back here somewhere. just because it's a little bit, you know, better concealed. Would have been less likely that they cap it. I just noticed that there's barbed wire on these on those buildings, or on those lines. But offensive bombing run as well. I just think they should have went in on the all-in. Easy satchel for a 2-man crew. I think we'll end up blowing up. Just watching the fighting, but you know, 263, you know, still has, you know, some SLs here. It's a good thing that they didn't, you know, send back a lot of their SLs, because I think that's the problem. Is some teams do have is they send back they're like some of their SLs, like they'll do like a callback. Like I don't know what people do for callbacks, but if you know, they said like maybe they say like half the team, like half of offense, you know, fall back. Usually that's, you know, some SLs as well. And I think, you know, maybe 263 strategy, I have no idea what it is, but maybe they just wanted to make sure that they had at least, you know, 2 or 3 squad leads still, you know, having their OPs, and still maybe having a few guys just holding, you know, what they have of checkpoint, just to keep that at base, so they're not, you know, completely boxed out of the checkpoint sector. But you know, I don't know what people do. I think right here, oops, shit. I think right here I just try to wait for someone to burn that OP. Come on, load. A little bit. Oh, my internet. I also sometimes feel that in this game that, you know, when a team, you know, somehow gets fully reset, or, you know, resets pretty hard, sometimes I feel like it almost is a blessing in disguise, because now 263 is, you know, they made a ton of ground post reset. You know, kind of throws OF a little bit off guard. Airhead comes down. The unfortunate thing is 263 kind of, I think, just hitting the houses a little bit too much. And OF gonna easily find the airhead. Very, very close. Like, the amount of airheads that were destroyed, like in a very, very close fashion, this game was really good. Or not really good. It was like really, really... I don't know what I'm trying to say. You guys know what I mean. Stop laughing at me, even though there's like 10 people here. Double stack heavies. Point this out real quick. Actually, maybe I'll go back and look at the map real quick as well. So, OF in a good spot. They just have no backline. Obviously, recon for 263 is being really good, taking out, you know, lots of these Garys that are along this line right here. I'm laughing. Thank you. No, explain, please. Fuck you. Yeah, so obviously their backline's kind of getting harassed a little bit. I'm really surprised, and this is one thing I noticed like throughout this entire game. OF did not have a red zone garrison at all. I don't know if they just didn't, you know, want a support swap, or they didn't try to put a supply drop, but personally I would have went with a garrison somewhere back here, or maybe even, you know, down here somewhere. The reason being is just because you can, you know, reflank easier, and you can also harass their backlines from multiple angles. So I'm really surprised that OF throughout this entire game doesn't do that. Obviously there's a double stack heavies on defense. I do like how now that OF is approaching from the north. I think 263 is just winning a lot of key frag engagements at times. Obviously they all just died on screen as I say that, but you know, they tried at least. I think that was a Puma that died back there. And like, if you're in this situation, if you're OF, you have to, like, I don't know, maybe send E squad to the hard cap as well, or at least just like 3 extra bodies just to try to secure this cap. And you have 4 OPs essentially. I think one thing that OF did bad is they all just kind of hit around the house. Like, yes, it's good to, you know, have it's good to control the houses on any map on any point, but I feel like it's like you're just not. I just don't think it's the right way to play, because this gets extremely close, like by like 5 seconds or so, 6 seconds. And like, if they would have engaged these guys, like if they were holding like maybe this hedge, or, you know, maybe someone right here, or I don't know, someone maybe in this ditch, you know, they can maybe get a few more picks and prevent them from getting the hard cap first. Because that's what it kind of comes down to, is like, it's not so much that you need to load up the hard cap yourself, but getting the picks around the hard cap, I think is I think a little bit more valuable, because, you know, they're like, if they enter the hard cap for a second and a half, you know, and they, you know, stall the cap progress, but they still die, you know, that's still a second and a half progress that they have remaining. Will I command this season? I don't know. Commanding stresses me the fuck out. Mostly in pubs it stresses me the fuck out, but as far as comp, it just depends on people's availability. I mean, I'm down to, but I don't know for 22nd if I am or not. Probably not. I don't really like commanding all that much, to be completely honest. It stresses me out way too much. Double tap. I thought this was good by OF, but you really don't want to trade up this tank. You really don't. Maybe this tank, I think this tank gets caught out a little bit. I think he does eat the first shot. Oh, he just misses the first shot. That's so unfortunate. So this should have been a 1v1 easy win, but this the 76 misses first shot, and this one didn't get into position quite yet. But, you know, you still trade out a pretty much, you know, a new 76 on the field, so you still have armor advantage. Poor Vikings has just been on the back of the 76s all game. Just constant reps. This is, I think, where it kind of gets into a little bit of a lull moment for like the next like few minutes or so. Also, I'm just gonna look at the map again. I think this is one of the most challenging things if you are on one of these smaller division teams, is trying to, you know, if you're at the map layouts like this, where, if you are 263 or even OF, where do you like splash your arty? Because obviously OF, you know, they're aiming their guns like right here where the arty mark is, but like if you're 263, it's hard to kind of maybe pinpoint where you should be landing your arty. Like, do you do it more at Western at this point, because, you know, your defense has been struggling, you know, a decent amount since checkpoint has been captured, or do you help the forces, you know, try to push into checkpoint to try to, you know, flip the script a little bit? So I always think it's kind of interesting to see that, of where these smaller div teams play their arty. Obviously, I guess they're hitting up here, so kind of interesting. Maybe you just kind of do it as it's kind of called to you. A little bit. I do like OF's, you know, prioritizing this corner, like power corners as we call it, because it is like in between both sectors, so you do want to control that corner. Them losing 2 backlines is, I think, a little bit of a concern, but it's not surprising, because 263, they are recognizing that, you know, their front door is being pressured, so they kind of put some pressure from the north, kind of push down south to try to push down back in the checkpoint, just to clear everything around them. And so far they have done a good job at that at this point. I think I'm telling right now in the stream that they need like a red zone garrison of some sort. I do say some suggestions. Jesus Christ, I cannot talk tonight. During the game of what maybe a team should do. I think that was a tiger that just died. Oh, it was an AT gun. And again, like, and then just 76 gets instantly popped by another tiger. That is the tank graveyard that will happen this game. I don't even know what the hell I'm listening to. Like, you shut up. Should make you mod, Bear Jew. Need more mods. And like, I don't understand how they started to cap the point. To be completely, it must have been like the tank in the south controlling a lot of that. And obviously there's no one in hard cap except for Mike now. But it's just interesting to see, like, you know, we have what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We have 11 players basically in the sector for OF, and they're still like technically losing the cap a little bit. Just kind of goes to show like how many, you know, people you can kind of spread out amongst your team in 35s, and how a cap can start, you know, flickering. Skip a little bit. I think somewhere right here. So just under halfway. Bomb run is coming in. I don't know if they do an airhead here. Do they do an airhead? I know 263 tries 3 airheads this game. I don't remember them doing one right now. But the Puma from behind and them also getting engaged from the front from an AT gun, I think. That is just a smart play. Good coordination from the 263 armor. Yeah, Puma somewhere over here. I think it's right here. Then obviously the heavy tank right here. Just, you know, doing a nice 1-2 punch onto that 76. So this is, I think, OF's only red zone garrison. I just think it's not in a good spot. I think it's very easy to find. I think they should have probably put it more so by this plane. Just because it basically kind of has equal value, just maybe, I don't know, 15 to 20 seconds more running than this one, if I'm being completely honest. As well as it's, you know, a little bit more like hidden. But, you know, obviously 263 bringing on the pressure. I think they wipe out the on-point garrison. I totally forget. I didn't even look. They wiped out the on-point Gary. Lots of people in the south spawning for OF. 76 is, I think, in hard cap now. He's driving away. Defensive bomb run comes in, only kills the medic. And they're nice. They're 263 getting a nice push from the north as well. It's kind of how you know, have to play this point as Axis is. If I do a zoom out here, Puma almost kills the 76. That would have been, I think, the play of the game, in my personal opinion, if that would have happened, if the 76 got taken out by the Puma. So this is what I kind of mean. This is kind of like how you, most of the time, how these takes happen for Axis if they're losing 2-3, of how they kind of recap checkpoint. And the reason how they do it is, you know, they take control of this house. They take control of that 3-story. Do people call this grandmas? I totally forget. But they take control of that 3-story, and they kind of take control of the across the street, the courtyard, and they kind of just push down south. And then you also have like a good front door presence right here, And then you not necessarily have to have the south down here, but you kind of want to kind of cut off this lane in between these hedges from anybody trying to push back into hard cap or push back to try to get in a crossfire situation to right here, or help contest this main road. If you do that, the Axis will cap the point a good amount of the time. That's usually the normal way to do it, unless you just want to front door the hell out of it, and best of luck to you about that. Or you somehow take the south. If you completely take out this wheat field as the Axis, you will probably take checkpoint. It's technically the Achilles heel of this point, but obviously 263 capping the point now. It kind of did that, but the unfortunate thing is they don't have the north anymore. OF now has the north. Replace some OPs. They did the flares this game. Yeah, they did. I think OF did really good in the flares. Obviously, I don't know if 263 when they pop flares unless I actually visually see it and know about it. I think the problem for 263 here is they didn't have the south until too many DJs gets down there, because you do want to establish a garrison somewhere back here in the south at some point, or not at some point, as quick as you can, because once you get control of that south as Axis, allies have a really tough time trying to retake that back. You know, if you clear them out of that wheat field, it's, like I said before, it's almost game over. Hercules heal. Dude, I don't know what I'm saying right now. I have no idea what I'm saying. I'm just kind of yapping. OF doing a good job. They, again, this is, I think both teams kind of did this. They kind of just go into each other's house. And I think it's only viable to really do that if your allies is to take control of this house and kind of push into this trench right here. If your allies, or yeah, if your Axis, that's what you want to do. If your allies, you want to control this house, but also try to, you know, establish control right here. Because if you get this, I guess shed, I guess it's a shed. If you control this shed a little bit, not only I would probably place like a proxy satchel right here, but if you know you do control this, you get a ton of lanes to shoot from right here and right here. Those are obviously the two best lanes for the Axis to push from. So I would have wished one of OF's players, you know, push right there, but they did have this guy who did a flop. Yeah, there he is. Who was trying to hold that, but you know, like I said, like if you get a proxy satchel right here, these two SLs and now those 4 players, they would be dead right now if you would have put that satchel there. Stop making fun of me. I feel bullied. And now, you know, 263, they're getting spawns, and probably they would have killed this garrison too if they would have pushed up to this house. So now 263. Airhead spawn in comes from OF. I think this is a good airhead. I'm gonna critique this again. I think this is a smart airhead by OF. They do have control of all of this up here, so the airhead will be clean and safe. They lost the south though, which I think is an issue, and there is I think a Tiger tank down there now too on that main road. I'm very surprised that neither team, especially 263, didn't try to build some sort of AT gun on the main road all the way in the north. I think if they would have got an AT gun all the way in the north, they would have won the armor engagement just hands down. But OF starting to surround the point now for more angles. I think the problem is just trying to knock out this Tiger, as well as like the spawns up here. They just need two. You always need as allies 2 SLs in this field. Like, I don't care what situation you're in. Any SME checkpoint game, you at least need, at the very bare minimum, 2 SLs there. Probably at least 3. I will shout out both these teams. I think the rep stations and AT guns this game were amazing. I think both teams did really good in that kind of aspect. But OF gets the cap back. Mostly because they did have that north control, and then the already just farming the piss out of them. Bomb and run will kill the airhead, but they already have a garrison down. Nice to see a quick garrison get placed. And now, I don't agree with this airhead from 263. It's in pretty much the exact same spot. And you don't have a lot of presence around the airhead to defend it. They don't have a bombing run either. They just use it to kill their airhead. So that's kind of just a waste of resources. If they were to place an airhead to kind of gain some ground back, maybe put it around this building right here. Just to try to maybe gain a little bit more ground a little bit quicker, or maybe not trying to lose as much ground. It does, I think, set them back at least, I would say, 10 minutes. And then them losing a tiger right there, just unlucky. I just think the tanks from each team played a tad bit too aggressive. Because you can just see all the dead tigers right here. Again, the AT guns, rep station graveyard as well. But 268 really not losing too much ground in this game once they lose a point, or if they have to get reset. I wish going vertical in the admin cam wasn't as finicky. I think something like this in games is fine. You could be saying he's just, camping and not really doing too much, but, he just got 3 kills within, like, 15 seconds of each other. I think this is a fine play from him. I think it's actually really smart, just because, you're, like, holding this ground. Like, yes, there's an assault player right here trying to find him, probably. But, he's making, like, when he kills these 3 players, he's making them call out, be like, hey, I just died to a guy in the building or whatever, so... he's kind of buying time for his squad to get back. He's buying time for any other of his teammates to kind of get back and maybe pick them off when they're trying to look for him. So I think it's a smart play, even though he does go down. I understand the intent there. Again, them trying to, or 263, trying to reclaim this north. Obviously, they're on recon right now. Obviously, trying to maybe push back down to where they did have success before. I think there's 2 heavy tanks and a recon tank on the field now for OF. I think maybe one of them's a medium. I think this first one up here is a medium, and they do have a Greyhound to support. I think this is very dangerous for 263. Once you lose like this hedgerow right here, it's very hard. It can be very hard to get back there, especially if Killjoy places his OP back here. This is a very hard thing to knock out if you are the Axis. And obviously they're trying to get back, but they're just getting picked off. I have a bush moment right here. Dead Greyhound, medium tank moving up. Now this, oh man, how do I really put this without being mean? I think this is what really turned the game around towards 263. This is when it kind of started to fall apart for OF, is losing this heavy tank. Now they do get lucky and they missed their first shot. They just hit the fuck out of the infantry, but them getting that first shot in still is just bad. It's really rough. This medium tank at this point should have been turned to face this tiger tank and get one easy pop shot into the side. Would have saved this heavy tank. This heavy tank for, I mean, I don't know. That 76 probably should have moved when he got shot first. And then now the medium tank will kill the tiger. It's an even trade, but it's a trade that you don't want to make and shouldn't make in a game. I do like how I just feel like there was 2 times where this worked, but for the opposite team, where both heavy tanks just get taken out. Obviously the bait early in the game with 263 and their P4 and the Tiger. That just, I think that they mistimed the bait if that's what the play that they were going for. And then right there as well, maybe the medium was supposed to be a bait, but the Tiger was just a little bit quicker to the spot. Just highly unfortunate. Just really unfortunate for them. But I think that's when the game could start to snowball. Thoughts on the tanks from both teams? I just think they played a little bit too aggressive at times, and I don't dislike that, because I think in the next update, when they do that tank rework where you can only have a max of 2 heavies, so you know, most 49s teams play with 3 tank crews. I think in 35s it's not going to affect the game at all that much, because most teams in the 30s and 35s only run 2 tank crews and they have that flex tank. So I don't think it's going to affect them, but it will affect the teams that play 49s, because usually each of those teams has around 3 tank crews. So I think it's obviously going to affect them more. I think you're going to see a lot, obviously, more light tank action, especially when teams are allies. You're going to see a lot, I think, more backline plays and stuff like that with recons and stuff like that. You should do this with some guys from both teams next time. The only reason why I didn't, I actually do want to do that. The only reason why I didn't for this game is I have no idea if either team speaks English, because obviously one's Spanish and one is Finland. Finnish, I guess. I have no idea. So they're both EU, so they're probably also sleeping right now too. I usually only do these during the week. Maybe for Legion EXO, after that game, of how that pans out, maybe get the guy from both teams. Hopefully they don't hate each other. But yeah, I can do, like, definitely do that from other players and see what they think. But back to the game. Yeah, I just don't think the tanks, I think the tanks just played a little bit too aggressive. Like, mostly just the heavy tanks, like obviously like in mediums and stuff like that. Post opener, even like the opener in this game, I think they played a little bit too aggressive. It did work out for 263 though, so I think it obviously did work out in their favor. They won that medium engagement, but I just think the armor just played just a little bit too aggressive. It just felt like they died very quickly. Puma from behind, you know, it's a Puma, it's a, you know, it's a default tank. I don't think they spawned it in, but you know, just getting 2 shots into a medium that's kind of like, I guess, out of play. Legion is from Mexico, so same thing. No, Legion, there's 2 Legions. There's Legion that's in the D1, and then there's Legion 201. So yeah, I know they're from Mexico, but actually I don't even know who won that. I forgot what, if they won or not. Wrong Legion. Or is it? I don't know. So I'll probably only pull up the map maybe 2 more times for the rest of this game. No shit. Shut the fuck up. So this is actually a really good map layout for OnlyFins. L201 should be D1. I don't think so. I do like this map layout. I think this is their best map layout they had. Now, obviously, I think they should have 1 garrison up here, but I think they're kind of getting kicked out of front door right now. I do like this layout. Like I said, they probably should have a red zone at this point, somewhere down here, somewhere over here, right here, just somewhere along the back line. Because not only do you know, get good, you kind of get, like, you know, good backline gear, but if you place something like, I don't know, like right here, for example, I'm just going to use this as an example. If you place a garrison right here and it goes red, most of the time it's probably going to be a tire tank or another tank that is coming out of the HQ, and it's kind of like a mini little radar that you can kind of gauge off of. But Good map layout overall. I do love how the OPs as well are in front of the garrison, kind of like, and also having like a backup OP for L squad. Obviously, they're trying to fight over the power corner, but you know, I do love what they have here at front door of checkpoint. I don't know where that medium tank is going. That medium tank is just going up north on the main road. As we are doing this weekend. Everything he says we are doing this weekend. I'm surprised that no MG from either team just laid down right here on opposite sides and just trying to hold down this sector. A little surprised to see that, but not the freaking Prachi satchel. Not a bad play right there at all. Kills around there. Unfortunately, the satchel I don't think will kill a soul, but it's the intent that counts, in my opinion, in my books. So this is where shit gets real. I don't know how this supply truck at 30s, it's very difficult to plan those MGs. Yeah, but I feel like you should have like in like 30s and 35s, you should have like probably 1 or 2 dedicated MG players. Now, obviously, like if you need, you know, a box and like everybody's off cooldown, obviously, you know, get your MG to redeploy and, you know, place a box. But I do understand that MGs can be kind of difficult in the lower formats. Yeah, no problem. You're welcome, Carlos. Obviously, it's a little bit, you know, difficult to kind of plan around that because obviously, you know, you have to. I think the biggest thing is tanks, and then also your recon. Do you have, you know, just having your recon SLs for flares, or do you also put in snipers for some kills? So like, obviously, you know, 18 support, 2 most important classes in the game, then probably, you know, so like, how do you plan for those kind of things? It's always interesting to see that at the lower ranks because you only have so many slots that you can do because some are dedicated to either tanking, commander, arty. I don't know how. The reason why this is not dead is because you're shooting up here in the top part when you should be shooting hull. And also it's not blowing up because you're shooting it with AP. So just a little tip out there for people. If you're gonna shoot a truck with AP rounds, just shoot for the hull. Or just coax it. That works too. I don't understand why there's like so many supply trucks being just driven up right now. This is such an unfortunate miss. Missing by like 5 feet. Somehow does blow up the rep station. I don't know the blast radius on this, but unfortunate miss on that P-strike. But 263 just, you know, still knocking at the door. They haven't really gave up any ground since they lost. Now, they did lose this hedge, like I said earlier. They did lose this, but they are slowly, they're at least, like, contesting this entire area all right here. You know, they are pushing them back, because before, they basically... Actually, I can switch colors. This is kind of the... This is kind of the control that, you know, they have right now. Is this. Before, like, it was looking like this for the most part of where OF kind of had that. You know, that's kind of, you know, they gained that much ground back within the last, I would say, 8 or so minutes. But I don't even think this is the right green. I don't care if it is or not. I don't know what this medium is doing. It's just kind of driving around, having a good time. R22 R strats leaked. I feel like Killjoy should have called out there's a heavy tank here. Medium should have just kind of like backed up into this corner. Just kind of held that. P4 comes in. Now this was, I think, a really smart play from this P4. It's just so unfortunate that he did not have the right angle set, because I think he's hitting turret right now and it's either ricocheting or non-penning. So I don't know if he had the right angle for it, but it's a smart play. Like, I think smartest tank play of the game, to be completely honest, getting this angle to try to challenge that 76. Is just that he just couldn't pen him. I think he might have been angled a little bit too much, but I think he's hitting the backside and the turret. And now OF does have this ground back. A little bit unfortunate, but they are leaving this open right there. Oops. Airhead is coming down. I think this is a really smart airhead. It's a little bit more concealed than the last one. The last one, I can back up. I actually have a good view of it. All right, the last airhead was landed right here. This one, like, it's kind of hard to choose, but this one right here is a lot more exposed. It's easier to land a grenade right here as it is right here, even though it's really not that difficult to land a grenade right there. This one's nice because it's a little bit more protective. There is smoke right here already, which is, I guess, maybe kind of convenient for them. I don't know who threw that smoke. It's not smoke already. It's just a random smoke grenade. Very smart airhead. Personally, I would have had it back here behind this bush. If I do back up a little bit. And I would have had it where Too Many DJs is at. I think right here would have been a little bit better. Just because it's a little bit more protective and it's harder to get to if you're OF. That's just me being very, very microcritical right now. Obviously, you know, this somewhat worked out into their favor. And I think the 263 commander makes some big plays to get at least one spawn wave off of. And you also have that medium tank also guarding that airhead if things do get a little bit too hot. Do have, no, he's on it. Commander hops over, gets a kill, gets another big frag, and then he does get a spawn wave. Only 2 players, and then this unfortunately happens, runs out of ammo in his gun, and then has to whip out the shovel. Just a little bit unfortunate play, but you know, those 2 players are still alive right now, so it did benefit them, and now they have a medium tank in the hard cap as well. Use a P-strike to defend it. I think that works. I actually have to test if your friendly P-strike takes out an airhead. I know if you place a mine on top of an airhead, like if you're an enemy, like, so if OF placed a mine by that airhead and then the 263 commander strafes it, it actually blows up the airhead still. Fun fact. And then, like, right here, it's just surprising how much cap pressure 263 actually applies. It's kind of insane how, like, all of a sudden they just kind of bum rushed this sector and then kind of just went into here. That looks very sus. And I already know someone's gonna clip that. Kinda. This right here, I think, is the biggest mistake OF makes in this game. Unfortunately, this airhead will despawn. When you lose any sector or any, like, zone, all the spawns, except for a half track, will be locked, unless the half track obviously is already in the red and you lose your own blue sector. But anything in the red will get locked. And it's just unfortunate because I think he placed the airhead when the cap was probably somewhere right here, I want to say. I really don't know. That's when he placed it. Obviously, Jimmy is running toward it, but it does despawn. Like, it does go away. It's a very unfortunate play. It does happen. Like, you accidentally do that sometimes. And sometimes, like, people just don't realize that the airhead, you know, even if the airhead's, like, in the air. So, like, I don't know. If it, like, let's say it's, like, the supply drop right now. If that's, like, let's pretend that that's the OF airhead. Once it's capped, and if it still does not touch the ground, the actual airhead shoot will despawn. That's just how the game works. Because technically that airhead is landed already. That's why the outline is there. And once the airhead, or once the cap happens, that despawn, that spawn is registered in the game as, oh, we have to destroy this now. We have to destroy this asset because they lost the sector, and that's how we coded the game. That's just how it works. I don't know why it works like that. I wish it doesn't. Wish airheads can stay like that, but obviously they don't. I think it would make for a lot more chaos in games. But, you know, that's just the world we live in. That's the game we play. I do love this red zone garrison down here in the south, just to get southern cap pressure and keep it consistent southern cap pressure. They already have 3 OPs down there, which is good. The problem is the front door is absolutely bare. Obviously they did lose... Oh my god, my dog's barking. Obviously they did lose... forgot about the recon LP. I mean... This recon LP should be legal, but, you know, it's not. God damn it for you guys banning it. I'm just kidding. Yeah, there's 3 OPs. 1, 2, 3. One of them is the recon OP. Obviously, you did lose a garrison on point, which was probably like right there somewhere. I have no idea. Probably there. You need like at least 2 squads spawning on this garrison. One to push the main road at least, and one pushing that river to the south. I just think that they set themselves a little bit back not doing that, and that's why there's, you know, cap pressure at the 130 mark. Dude is Orga. That's an insane comment, Leb. That's an insane comment. They do get another garrison now, but Cat's Up I think was already on it, but died on it. And if you're 263 here, you are having the time of your life. That's a lot of people around that house. What they should have done is they should have had someone help push to the south just to secure this wheat field. If you lock this out and you control this, it is very hard for OF to push from right here and right here to try to take that. So I wish they would have maybe dedicated a few more bodies in the south. I think they should have had someone, or at least like maybe 3 people, just maybe 1 squad's worth, just contest this river. And then also maybe get a squad. I think GG's is trying to do it right now. Just kind of control this this crossroad right here, because this is a very powerful position to hold, is this crossroads. I think it's one of the most powerful spots on this map in particular as axis to hold, if you do get a hold of it, is to hold that sector right there, or at least that that crossroad type thing. But obviously they just capped and they just want to make sure they are a-okay. Looks like they are sending some bodies to the north, which you like to see. They're just not doing it, I think, as fast as they can. Obviously Kane pushing up, Miguel also trying to contest as well, just dies to Sugar Pipe or one of the guys in the front. Nice to see them actually doing what I said. I just think they just needed somebody in the north. I'm sorry, I wasn't there yet. I'm sorry, Carlos. So they do have some people to the north, which you like to see, just so they can, you know, kind of collapse there, just make sure they don't get wrapped around. There's Carlos right there pushing the river. So this is good. This is nice to see that you are contesting this river. In the north, they probably should send 1 more squad somewhere up here in the north. I don't know if they get it. Obviously, I don't know if they have a garrison up here or not, but obviously put 1 up here on this side of the road, just so you have it. Nickifin in the back trying to do some shenanigans. So right now 263 is looking good. I just think they have maybe a little bit too many people in the hard cap itself. Just because like this is this is not okay. I'm sorry, that's just not okay. That's just way too many people for my liking. But you know, you guys still won the game. Spoilers for people that haven't watched this game. That is just so unfortunate, dude. This is one of the most heartbreaking things to happen ever in Hella Loose. Like, this sucks all the time when this does happen, is when you're about to place a satchel but your friendly tank like kills you. Like, he hit the top of his, like the front portion of his gun, and it was still enough splash damage to kill him. Oh, that's so unfortunate. And that really does delay, I think, an early push from OF, because if this heavy tank does go down to a satchel, they, with the timing, the satchel takes out too many DJs. Obviously, that tank as well, because I think too many DJs dies right here. Yeah, no, he does not die. But yeah, it would have taken out all those players, and they probably would have maybe kept this garrison in the north. Probably not, but good old backdoor garrison push. A little bit sneaky. Around here is where I got the deep garrisons out on defense and the one unmentioned. The only unfortunate thing, Carlos, is I don't see those plays happening. Obviously, because I'm on the other team and I don't open my map all the time. But I think you do closing on the garrison. Or if you would have placed your OP like behind this building or like somewhere over here, I think if you would have called maybe a few bodies that were like all the way back here on defense to your OP, oh, actually maybe not, because they have a lot of armor to the south. But even like if getting like, you know, 4 guys in the hard cap, that would have helped out a lot. This is insane of how many bodies spawn up here and how just 263 is ready for them. Throw smokes, grenades. Throw smokes. Americans have the best smoke grenades in the game. You can spam a lot of them very, very quickly. Just spam smoke. Use the Thompsons at close range. You do get your OP up. People do spawn on it. The cap race has started, and this is where things get freaking spicy. Already starting to farm the garrison, unless the garrison was destroyed. And this is this is where that this is where, you know, this heavy tank being dead in the south from that satchel comes into huge play, because then this tank can pretty much hold this main road then for OF. But, you know, them losing this 76, you know, you kind of have to make some plays in the last 5 minutes, and they try to make a play there, so I don't blame them for playing a little bit aggressive. Puma comes in. I think we'll get popped at some point by the 76, but I don't remember how this tank fight played out. Actually, I don't remember. How did this tank fight play out? Does he get satcheled? Oh, please tell me he doesn't get satcheled. Okay, he doesn't. Puma trying to make a play. Not really gonna work out. Again, if I was this Tiger crew, I would have coordinated with this Puma, have this Puma kind of just going on like a death run, then have this 76 peak on either side just to get first shot onto that 76, because it's also going to force him to turn his gun and turn the tank just to get that first shot back on after reload. I think, yeah, he does get satcheled here. So, like I said, this Tiger tank probably became MVP. Well, never mind, he does die, but, you know, him staying alive, killing that first 76, you know, did cause that other 76 to get satcheled. So, you know, very unfortunate from OF there, because they could have had 2 heavies for a push, but just the dice did not roll in their favor. And then, you know, the game of Hell Loose actually begins with a bombing run airhead. Virtua protecting the heck out of that airhead. Again, I don't blame them for placing the airhead right here. It's actually a decent airhead spot. Honestly, in the last, like, in a desperation attempt like this, I would probably place it in hard cap, because you get more immediate hard cap pressure than you do right here, because I think this is just out of the hard cap. So even losing like 1 or 2 seconds sprinting to the hard cap just to start flipping that point was a little bit of a difference in this game, in my opinion. I think if they would have you know, put it in the hard cap so they immediately spawn into the hard cap, because look at 1, 2, 3, how many seconds was that? Hold on. All right, so they spawn in at 17. I'm just gonna slow it down to 0.5. So they come at 17. They don't enter the hard cap at 13. So yeah, 4 seconds. So that was a 4-second difference between, you know, them spawning on the airhead and getting into hard cap. You know, and they do start capping it. Obviously, it's going to go back and forth a little bit. But, you know, just like they, you know, got to the hard cap 4 seconds earlier. So, like, it's, I don't want to say they could have actually won the game if they would have got it into the hard cap. That's a spoiler. Dude, I don't care. Stop memeing. This does get the airhead. Like, if they would have placed it, I don't know, like right here, like right behind here, it might have actually saved the airhead. It might have saved the airhead. It might have died by the infantry trying to get to it. But, you know, this could have saved the airhead. I think this might be in hard cap. I'm not entirely sure, but if this is in hard cap, you know, they would have it's just hard to tell. Also, I feel like them just staying in this building is not good. I think they should throw smokes at the front door, at this entrance right here, the entrance like right where this little pathway is over there behind the building, and then trying to satchel this building and trying to control this building, because I think that's what OF was missing in this last minute push, was getting people across the road, which, you know, they are trying to do right now. But I feel like just getting those proxy satchels down, obviously Luke's coming in to try to save the day, and then right kind of then and there is when the game is pretty much finalized. It's pretty much done. I think they do get it. No more defense after this from 263, but, you know, that both buildings are in hard cap, just not all of it. No, I'm talking about like back here. Like back here in this sector. Is that not hard cap? It might be. I'm not entirely sure. But, you know, if they would have dropped it in hard cap, I think OF actually could have won with like a few seconds remaining on the clock. Because like right now, they pretty much rule checkpoint. Obviously, there's going to be a big spawn wave right here. Artie's going to be coming down. Sugar, Pipe, and Hoppy are going to start getting some kills. And that's not going to matter because then Sugar takes out the garrison. And like I said, those 4 seconds, you know, you add, you know, what, 23 on the clock. I think you're actually gained a little bit more because you started capping a little bit like earlier. So you do gain a little bit of this back. I think it's an OF win if they drop the airhead in hard cap. You know. And then once, you know, time starts dwindling, people are still trying to fight for it. Just trying to get a last second. Oh, god damn it. Really should not do 2 times speed. Do 1.5, I guess. Trying to pause it with 1 second remaining on the clock. God damn it. I suck at this, dude. I'm just gonna do it 2 seconds. All right, so yeah, I think, I don't know, if they would have started capping 4 seconds sooner, I think OF win with like 1 second left. It's really hard to tell. It's also hindsight is 2020. So like obviously it's like a what if situation. I think both teams deserve to win this game. Obviously that's impossible, but you know, I think both these teams played one heck of a game. I enjoyed casting it. I think both teams enjoyed playing in it. Obviously, maybe more so on the 263 side than the OF side. But, you know, this is like the games that you want, you know, to be a part of, where it comes down to the wire. That's like 10 seconds. Yeah, because, you know, you start capping 4 seconds earlier. It's just like those little things can be the difference between winning and losing a game. Like, I think the 2 reasons why 263 won is them having this heavy tank alive to kill, like, I think 2 heavies. I don't know. They, you know, they at least killed, yeah, they killed 2 heavies. So like, you know, just keeping that tank alive, I think was the major difference maker, and them just accidentally getting that TK on the personnel satchel, just very unfortunate. You know, I think that was pretty much the deciding factor of this game. And then I think there's a play earlier where I think OF traded out a heavy, two heavy, like each team traded out a heavy. Yeah, OF traded out a heavy for pretty much no gain because they died to a tiger tanked, and then the medium killed them 2 seconds later. I think that was a misplay from OF. But still, fantastic game from both these teams. That's pretty much it for this stream. I just wanted to do something quick and fun. I'll be doing these throughout the season. I'll mainly going to be doing the games that I cast myself, just because I have a better memory of what happened. But you know, commander scores are insane. 6,000 to 6,000, 12,000 separated between both commanders, which is absolutely insane for building garrisons and shit, especially in a 35s format. But yeah, that's gonna do it for me. That's pretty much it. Like I said, I'll be doing this throughout the season for all those teams that I do cast. But yeah, I'm gonna eat some dinner now, so I'll catch you all guys later. And yeah, that's it. I hate outros. Goodbye.